Om Shanti. And welcome to Soul to Soul. This is Rose from the Brahma Kumaris in Glasgow. And tonight we're going to talk about the secret of good vibes. So vibes are our vibrations. It's very, very useful information because it can take away a lot of worry, a lot of stress, anxiety, fear, and sadness when we understand how this system of our own vibrations actually work. So our thoughts are actually, once more we'll talk about, our thoughts are the seed of our every action, of our being, of our life. Because when you think, every thought forms a vibration and a pattern. And that pattern and vibration is especially, if you put it into action, you get a result from outside. When you think thoughts, these energy patterns touch your brain and you instantly get the effect of your own thoughts. So these feelings permeate through every single cell of your physical body. So we're so carried away with what we're doing and saying and thinking, we never think of what's the effect. So often we're so busy thinking, doing and seeing that we become deadened to our own vibration. We don't realize that the feelings are coming from our thoughts. So we lose touch with the vibration of ourselves. So if you think of it, if we feel angry, that has a huge vibration within my own head, touches my own brain, and goes through my entire body that I'm living in. And if I've been talking in an angry way, it will be out there full blast. It will be out there anyway, but it will be out there in a physical form also, annoying someone. But what we do is we then blame whoever was the person that annoyed me in the first place, and we're so busy thinking about what to do about what they did, rather than thinking correctly that I had the vibration of anger. I take anger as a good one for seeing that it's a forceful energy. So I'm so busy thinking what to do about it, why did they do that, and oh gosh, what will I do next? That we haven't been taught or trained to look at the fact that I created that vibration. I put out that vibration. It touched someone. Maybe they also are putting out vibrations of anger, which is upsetting me. But once I learn that, I'm pretty much to blame here also, I could even apologise, or I could stop my vibration of anger. And that way I'm not creating such bad habits which are going to come back to me. So we're so busy thinking, doing and seeing that we become deadened to our own vibration. And we lose touch with the vibration of our own self. We have no idea that we were sort of halfway in there, if not fully to blame, we were at least halfway to blame. And so we don't appreciate the value of vibration or acknowledge the result, because see, if I was light-hearted and happy, then that light-hearted, happy feeling would touch my brain. It would then go through every cell of the body I'm living in, and it would go out into the world. It would go out whether I speak words or not, but if I speak words, they would be happy, light-hearted, friendly, and they would be having a good result on the way I live and the people I'm connected to. So I would also get the return of that through the law of energy. So I'd be quite happy to get that one back. So it's worthwhile thinking about. And even if we disagree with this, you can't stop it. This is what happens. So if you were to stop and look at yourself, just because inside we know what goes on inside if we stop and look. And we know the way we think, and we know our moods, and we know all the ways that we're fearful. We know that. So if we were to stop and have a jolly good look, you know, it could really help us in many, many ways. But as it is, if we're not checking this out, we won't appreciate the value of our own vibration. Our own vibration is our own life energy. It's the energy I'm creating inside my head all the time. It's me, it's I the living being. And it's also going through I the soul, or coming from I the soul. So if we don't appreciate the value of our own life energy or acknowledge the results, we'll turn to blame different external factors for that. We'll say it was this, it was that person. And so this is what we call stumbling around, almost in the darkness. Actually, to use spiritual language, you often say the darkness of ignorance, because we totally have no idea that what chaos we're causing. And it's going to come back to ourselves. We're alive, vibrant energy that impacts everything around us. So just to check, what's the quality of your energy? Well, it'll be different, because we'll have good days and bad days, and happy days and not so happy days, and all this kind of thing. But it's good to start checking, knowing that we can change it. Just change your thoughts. Is it good, is it bad, or indifferent? So it could make it like a game, an insight game. If something unwanted or unexpected happens, we feel dramatically touched by our own sadness, worry, and fear. Now that's where it all comes from. But instead of looking inside to see the cause of the problem, then we take something physical to relieve that state, or to calm down, or we blame someone else for having caused it. And we point the finger and say, it was you said that to me, and you upset me. And then we could have quite a dislike for the cause of the problem. And maybe they did prompt some reaction, but it isn't really quite good for us to start casting blame, when most of the blame, or a lot of the blame, was my own. So if I want to create positive vibrations, Again, really, really the only solution, if you're lucky you'll pick up on this, is to explore meditation. Because in meditation I can look at my moods as someone who knows that I have them. And I can decide whether I want to stay calm rather than get upset. And I can talk to myself and say, gosh, I shouldn't have done that, or I'm going to try hard to not go there anymore. So I can get strength from becoming peaceful and looking in a calm way at the way I think. Because there are lots of secrets hidden within ourselves. Even when good things come, it takes a lot of people to accept that goodness is created within ourselves. It takes a lot for people to accept that. We think the goodness has come from some benefactor or some really cheerful, friendly, light-hearted person. So we equate all the goodness as coming from outside, and we create all the anger and annoyance as coming from outside. But we're part of the deal, you know. It's coming from the soul, you. The soul is you. And so this little tiny point of energy has everything of you within it. It's like a living record of everything you've ever thought and done. That's where your memories come from. And when you concentrate on this tiny point of powerful energy within, it has all the information that you will ever need. Instill the habit of letting go of all your connections for a few seconds. So come away from all the people you know, from all your worries and responsibilities and all of that. Try and bring yourself out of all of that, and to do that you have to see yourself as the point of living life energy in the center of your forehead. So come away from that for a short time, away from all the physical. If you could do this for a short time, a few times a day, the difference in your thinking would be very, very noticeable for you. And at the end of the day, you will still feel yourself to be quite fresh. You won't be quite so tired and stressed as you could have been before. Because we use our energy, and if we're using it without understanding, it will take a lot of energy. We use our energy in thinking. So if I think about worrying things, speaking, if I speak about a lot of gossip or annoyance or concern or anxiety, and moving, I move around, I might go running or jumping or go to the gym or just move about. These take masses of our strength and power. So we're living beings. We take energy to do everything. So we lose most strength and power when we feel annoyed or angry or depressed or challenged or fearful or disturbed about anything, any situation, or worried. But when I think that I must stay calm. I must stay steady. I must look at my own energy of peace. Peace is our original energy. Then peace refreshes the soul. Learn, teach yourself, listen to things, keep in good company, listen to talks, be with people who do meditation. Learn to create peace. And feel excited and motivated and anxious to create good vibrations. And for that, the answer is to meditate. And for Raj Yoga meditation, we think of the one above, because that one is the ocean of peace and love and happiness. I won't find this in a human being. I might find a little bit here and there, but won't find an ocean. And again, if something unwanted or unexpected happens, we do feel dramatically upset by our own feelings of sadness and worry and fear. But we have such a habit to get pulled out to looking to find out what caused this or who to blame. And if we were to look inside, we might be able to see and understand that my own mood or my agitation or my upset or my sadness triggered off the problem. So we take something physical, usually, instead of doing that, to relieve that state or to blame someone to have caused that. So when you listen to this, you can think, well, it isn't fair, actually. And if you think that so many others will be doing that to us, they'll be blaming me when half of it's their fault, and I'm blaming them when half of it's my fault. So when somebody gets a handle on their own energy, it has to make a dramatic difference, which is why we say when we do Raj Yoga meditation, it often has quite an impact on the people around us. They might not ever do it or might never agree with what we're doing. Nevertheless, there'll be a result, because I won't be acting and reacting as I was before. So, learn to create peace and create good vibrations. Learn how to meditate. Om Shanti. I don't know if we have any questions.
Yeah. I'd like to hear just a bit more about the habit of blaming, about how it's just, there's almost not a pause now, it's just an unpleasant feeling or a discomfort, and instantly I look for a cause outside. And how do I train myself? What's the kind of process, and how long will it take to train myself so it's more natural just to say, okay, what can I look at inside myself, what can I adjust in my thinking?
Yeah, I think the minute you start looking inside and seeing that you were upset and you had a flurry of upset energy there, and therefore how can you blame others? But it is a habit. Now I'll give you a wee example, is that I was out in the car with someone. We got out of the car at a travel stop. The person I was with went to the back of the car to get a flask or something. I got into the car was slightly on a little bit of a hill, and I'd just give my head such a bump And I, in a second, blamed the person that was at the back of the car, saying they distracted me or something. Now, the person at the back of the car wasn't anywhere near me, and they were happily getting a flask out the back of the car, but I got so irritated, and obviously it was sore, having banged my head, that I very quickly thought that it must be their fault that I've banged my head. This is years and years and years and years ago. Don't do that now. But you could see how ridiculous that was. I saw that in an instant, and it gave me, I started to laugh actually. I thought, oh my goodness. So, despite the fact I had a sore head because I had thoroughly bumped my head, made me irritated. So you have to check it out. Really, it's good if you have a real life example of the fact that you quick as a flash, in a second, split second, you're ready to blame something for your misfortune. So the thing to do is to teach yourself, and you can only do it through meditation, sitting silently, looking at the way you think, and you'll know if you're an agitated person, if you're a worried person, or if you're a sad person, if you're a bit of all of that. And if you have sort of got a generous heart that says, I don't want to do this anymore, I'm up for taking half the blame. I'll start to correct myself. I can't correct them anymore. I'll correct myself. And you'll learn to have a different way of thinking. Okay.
Thank you. So maybe on a practical note, if you happened to be the person at the back of the car,
Oh.
if you're in the firing line when somebody points the finger, and do you use humour? Do you just go quiet? Do you stick up for yourself, or does it just depend on the situation?
Well, it depends on who it is, the other person, and it depends on the situation. But now, I think I keep a muzzle on myself. I think I don't let myself blame the other person. It's not fair. Yeah, you realise this kind of the rules of the game. It's definitely not fair, because it happened to me and they weren't even there. They didn't even utter a word. And so, or the person that I knew who banged their head, I could sympathise. I think what I would do is say, oh my goodness, oh, what happened there? Oh, look at this. Just here's a wee cup of tea. I think I would sympathise, knowing that they really were upset. They were really upset. So you can afford to be generous-hearted like that, because you know how it works.
Otherwise it just adds to the chaos.
Yeah, you know how it works now, and when you know how it works, you're not going to blame them for freaking out at something that obviously you had nothing to do with.
And near the beginning you said that we lose touch with the vibration of ourself, and you spoke about the soul. And in a talk you did the other week, you said that we are the most beautiful person we can ever meet, that everybody is ultimately looking for themselves to feel whole.
Yeah.
Could you say something about that, how we get back in touch?
Yeah, because you are the most beautiful person, and there's no one more beautiful to you than you. But you have to reform you into a more fair image than the one that was blaming others, which is like the person at the back of the car would suddenly want to help the other person. That makes you beautiful, actually, in your character. They would want to give a sticking plaster, they'd want to give a cup of tea, they'd want to smile and soothe and reassure the agitated one. That makes you beautiful. So you all must have it in you, or you wouldn't be listening to something like this. You must have the beauty already in the soul. It's just that we haven't looked for a while, because we didn't know we were a soul. We thought we were only this physical being. But the physical being has to live on energy. It works through energy, this physical being. and the energy's gone everywhere, all over the place, without discipline, if you like. Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Let's share a moment, focusing on the center of the forehead. I am beautiful energy. My energy in its purest form is purest energy. And its purest peace. And my energy in its purest form is most beautiful, loving energy, kindly energy, helpful, friendly. And in its purest form, my energy has a lot of happiness, smiling, friendly, kindly, accepting, understanding, feelings of belonging, that we're all okay, we're like a family, part of a family. So not blaming, I stop the blaming. A being of light. And no matter who I'm in connection with, whether they understand they're a soul, or only I understand that they are a soul, that way I can be so different in my attitude. A change of attitude can happen. I am a soul, a being of light. I practice looking at the self and thinking of the one above, the Supreme Energy, the Supreme Soul, who is purest energy and who will always, always support me when I wish to change those old patterns and make fresh, new ones. Will always support me. That one is like the Father of all souls, and we're all the children of that one. I can teach myself to be a peaceful being, a loving being, and a being of happiness. I'm a soul, and I interact with others and practice seeing them also as souls, points of light, beautiful beings. Om Shanti.